Kenyatta, watching Free Speech TV in Redlands, California. Hey, Kenyatta, what's on your mind today?
Oh, Mr. Hartmann, you know that I'm sure that you may recall right after the Ferguson uprising, you and I had a conversation, and I indicated to you that something such as what took place in Dallas yesterday would occur. And one of the reasons, one of the byproducts of white privilege, which you've been so eloquent in talking about, is something I call Anglo Cognitive Dissonance. This did not start with Richard Nixon or the war on drugs. This started at the very beginnings of this country.
Sure.
Thomas Jefferson most eloquently said that the blacks, whether originally a distinct race or made distinct by time and circumstances, are inferior to whites in the endowments of both body and mind.
Yeah.
And
this was the rationalization for slavery, for maintaining slavery. Yeah.
Of course. But most ominously, he said in his notes on the state of Virginia that race war will divide us into parties. And it was interesting, your comment about the Democratic Party earlier being associated with blacks and the Republican Party being the political face of white people. He said that race war will divide us into parties and produce convulsions which will probably never end, but in the extermination of the one or the other race. This is dyed in the wool in this country. And though it was terrible what took place in Dallas, to hear white people now say basically that, oh, my goodness, the police are going to retaliate, and now we could have all of this bloodshed. They weren't saying that as Tamir Rice died, as Sandra Bland died, as Walter Scott died, as Eric Garner died, and as these two young men died just recently. It's almost like the war on terror. It's that same cognitive dissonance. For decades, the United States has murdered children in Islamic lands and defiled those lands. Yet suddenly when the beheadings come and the planes fly into buildings, oh, it's a terrible thing.
And where did this come from?
I don't know. And I'm trying to triangulate all of these things. But I can tell you this. There will probably be something done now because there's been some bloodshed. And that's unfortunate. But that's the way it goes because the United States has been totally deaf in terms of responding to police abuse after abuse after abuse in this country. And what happens is these people get away with it. Mm-hmm. And they've continually gotten away with it, Tom.
Yeah. Well, this is why I think that this piece that Leon Wolf wrote for Red State, for a right-wing website, saying that basically the most important safety valve to prevent violence like we saw in Dallas last night is the belief that when officers go off the rails, the legal system will punish them appropriately. And if you no longer have that belief, then you can expect the kind of thing that happened in Dallas. And that's, this is from a conservative website. And it's absolutely, I think, absolutely true. Tragically, but absolutely true. And there's a reciprocal to that, too, as well, by the way, which is that if police don't feel that they will ever be punished, then they feel more free to kill black people. Back to you, Kenyatta.
I absolutely concur. I did want to say to you very briefly that you mentioned the police chief in Dallas being a black
Chief
man,
Brown,
which he is. And, after the Freddie Gray murder, I remember hearing lots of people say, well, some of the officers were black. Yeah. The color of the person that has nothing to do with racism. Racism has to do with structure and institutions. You see, most
I agree.
black officers are very deferential to white suspects.
Yeah, I understand, Kenyatta. I absolutely do. Although, Dallas, I understand, actually is a fairly progressive police department. Kenyatta, thank you for the call.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.